Hello, I want to provide a little bit of support on designing some engaging virtual learning spaces. And basically, we're just talking about what are some digital tools that we can use to allow students to collaborate together synchronously or asynchronously, contribute their products in the same space. And maybe we can get students to interact, engage, collaborate, and communicate inside of that space. So first, we're in Microsoft Teams here, and if you've not played with breakout rooms yet, it's really phenomenal, and it's fairly straightforward to set up. If your account is not showing a breakout room option at the top, please reach out to me. We can get that fixed. It is rolled out completely, so you should have access to it, but you can automatically or manually assign students to a room. You can send announcements to those rooms. You can bounce in and out of those rooms, but those rooms include their own separate chat that students can use to communicate and collaborate inside. So that is pretty neat. It's a pretty neat feature. I did that the other day with staff, Martinsburg High. We had 94 people in a meeting, and we all went into breakout rooms and then came back. First, there's so many things inside the Google suite of tools. So you're looking at docs, sheets, slides, drawings, things like that. So don't neglect the power of just opening up a Google slide template or a project and then giving students edit access. I think those are experiences that our students should have. I think there's some benefit to using drawings for these. There's so many graphic organizers out there. I got a lot of these from Matt Miller. They're just out there on the web, but we have copies of these I can share with you if you'd like. There's character maps, questions charts, timelines, Frere diagrams, Venn diagrams, really neat stuff in there. Just do those on Google Drawings or in a Google Jamboard. We'll get to that in a second. There's a Google slide project I like called the Iconic Moment in History. Students use their Chromebooks and they collect images representing an iconic moment in history. They can use a fun tool called remove.bg to insert a picture of themselves, and then it removes the background from that picture of themselves. And then I told my students to use Google Maps to go find pictures of historical places around the world, and then they can drag and kind of insert themselves into the picture, which is kind of neat. And they would do that on their own slide. Each team would have their own slide, and then students would use the comments button to try to guess what that iconic moment in history was. Google Jamboard is really popular right now. A lot of people are using it virtually. These Jamboards can be shared with a link, and you can do that with your BCS Google account and share that link inside of a team meeting, for example. All students would jump in here and then have edit access in their own Jamboard. So I like this one. This was a discussion roundtable, and students would add in a breakout room. They would have a discussion about a topic that the teacher asked them to discuss, and they would record portions of their discussion here in these boxes and then submit that back to the teacher. I like this copy of the picture of the day, and I got this from a friend on Twitter, Megan Benicia. And she does a picture of the day with her students, and they all get in this Jamboard, and they just notice and wonder and think about what's on the picture and what's in the text. She gives them a chance to respond and contribute to the board, and then they have a discussion about it. It's really neat, very simple, but it is a way to increase engagement a bit with students by giving them a virtual space to connect in. I really like Wakelet. Wakelet is a digital curation tool, so it allows students to contribute to this space or this board where they can add several things. They can add websites if they're doing research. They can add text, videos, images, PDFs, documents. They can even do a Flipgrid video right here inside the Wakelet, which is neat. But they can contribute resources right here in the same wall is what Wakelet calls these, a wall. It's kind of like Padlet. A lot of us know what Padlet is. I like Padlet, and I've had students contribute to a Padlet board before. There's so many ways in which you can organize a Padlet now, but it is a nice way for students to be able to contribute to the same space. And once again, all students are kind of collaborating in that same space, which is nice. And finally, I'm a big fan of Flipgrid. There's so many things out there. If you don't have an educator account on Flipgrid, make one. It's free. Go to the Discovery tab up top and just browse the Flipgrid topics that are already created and already out there. This one is titled Why Can't You Feel the Earth Spinning? Students would read an article on MSN Kids and then respond to the prompt that the teacher provided here in the article. I've also used Flipgrid with staff before. We played a fun game called Guess Who, and students or adults would use the filters in the fun Flipgrid camera to disguise themselves, but then they would share two truths and a lie about themselves. I've seen variations of this activity where students would pretend to be a character in the book, and then other students would go and watch the videos and they would try to guess which character that student was impersonating through Flipgrid. So just fun things like that you can do to give kids an opportunity to connect to one another, something that I think our kids are begging to do right now. Thank you for watching.